talking about the process for selecting the web content. But before I go to the process, we should first know what is the web content writing. Usually, web content writing is all about writing the informative and factual content for the website. It's about providing the relevant content about your website or the website of the organization you are in. So when you're going to select the content for website, you have to be clear with the content that you are going to put on the website, because that content is accessed by the many audiences outside here the world. And understanding that people read the web pages differently than other media is the key for writing and laying out the content that will promote relevant topics. So when you're going to select the content for your website or web page in general, you have to be clear, you have to be specific, because as the content is clear to the audience, it's accessed by the many personas around the world, and it doesn't become difficult to know the content that you are providing to your audience or personas in general. So let me talk about the process for selecting the content of the web. The first step is about to put the content you now have on the topic aside. I may understand that this might be difficult, because choosing the content about a given topic might be difficult, but you have to choose the content which is really going to be relevant to the audience who are going to access your content. And the second step is about check the strategy and architecture. So after finding out the topic, you see if the topic you have chosen is relevant to your organization or department, either to the marketing strategy or either information architecture. Because that content you are going to represent, if you are in a given organization, the content you are providing might not be irrelevant to the organization or department you are working in. And the third step is about adopt personal perspectives. You try to put yourself in point of view of your visitors. You try to say, this content I'm going to provide for my webpage, who this content is relevant to. And the fourth step is about listing the questions about the content. So after finding the content for the webpage, so you know what, when you are accessing the website, we usually ask ourselves different questions. So as the web content writer, you have also to ask yourself in mind, as I'm going to put this content on my website, so my audience will meet different questions. You try to put yourself in the side of the visitors, the questions that they might ask, and then you try to list all those questions. And the fifth step is about putting the questions in logical order. Usually, when the visitors are accessing those websites, they ask different questions. But here, the fifth step is about you try to think which questions that the visitors will ask firstly, and then you try to put them on order as they're going to be asking those questions. You go through the list until all the questions you have put them on the order. And the sixth step is about cut, press, write, and edit. So after listing different questions that your visitors of your content will ask themselves, now the sixth step, you go back to the content on the first step, and then you use that content as the source to answer the question that you have wrote down. Then this is about the sixth step. About the seventh step, you look over what's left in your original. So like after answering different questions, because now you have a draft, you try to see to the original content. So is there anything that is left which is relevant to the visitors of the web page? And after finding that maybe there is something left, you may put it to the new content. And when there is no like the information that you have left, you skip. And then on the 8th step is about getting more answers. Usually, as you have asked yourself different questions, there might be time you may not be able to answer all those questions by yourself. So here, you try, if there is questions that you have not found the answers, you try to search the right person who can give you like the great information or the answer to the questions that you have not been able to answer. And then, because as there is questions you have left without the answers. So like the visitors who access your web page might like call you later or message you asking different answers for that question. So by answering the questions that the audience might ask, this serves you for later calls from your audience or visitors to your web page. And the 9th step is about to read your new draft. Yeah, now you have the new draft. So even though it's a new draft, it might have like the content which is not clear, the other things which are not in order. So now you ask different questions like, does this content I have flow in the logical order? Like, are the questions that I have like tried to ask, are they in the visitor's words? Because if you put like the questions, you might put the questions like which will be difficult like for the visitors to understand. So you ask yourself, are the questions like in your visitor's words? And then even the answers you are trying to provide must be short, straightforward, and clear. Like you may ask a question and then you provide an answer, but the answer when like your visitor access that answer, you try to see, is this answer will be clear to the visitor of this website? And then the 10th step is about discard what you have not used. As you have like answered all the questions, you have choose the content for the web page. Now you try to remove the content which is irrelevant. Like if your site visitors neither need nor care about the information, why is it included? You don't have to put the content which your visitors are not going to need. What for? This is like increasing the content which is not relevant to the visitors, and this might reduce the number of visitors who may be interested in reading the content. So I know this might be difficult, but you have to be serious to this 10th step, because this is the important step. As you put the content which is not relevant to the visitors, it reduces the number of the visitors to web page. And as you put the content which is relevant, which is clear, the number of visitors to your website increases. So in selecting the web content, this have the 10 steps. And now we are going to the following topic, which is about process for cutting down to the essential messages. Usually this goes after selecting web page content, because now you cut down it. Yeah, like this is the process, you cut down the essential messages. So the step 1 is about starting with your new draft. You take the new draft and then you try to go through the process of selecting the web content section. After selecting the web content, in this process of cutting down the essential messages, you take the new draft and you go through all the steps, the 10 steps in web content writing. And then on the second step is about focus on the fact. You focus on the fact. You don't have to give like your visitors of the web page or the audiences, things which are not clear, things you don't have to put something which is not relevant or which is not true. You focus on the fact and then you cut the fluff. Usually, fluff describe any content which doesn't contribute to the content, maybe, or if it's a blog or article you are reading, you just you remove all those things which might be not like providing, which might not be like contributing much to your content. And then the third step is about focus on your site visitors and what they really want to know. Here you try to focus like you don't have to put like the organization information. You focus on what really my visitors want, what are they want about this content. You don't have to put the things like the organization information. Do they need that? Of course no. So here you cut out what that talk about the organization, unless like your visitors might be interested. If they're interested, you can put those information about your organization. But I think mostly the visitors, all they want is the content, not like the information regarding the organization. But in case they want that information, it's okay. You can put it on your website. And then the fourth step is about put your new draft away for a day or two. So after making the draft, you just put like that draft aside. And I think this is about like put the draft aside and give it some time, so that the next time if you take the draft, it will be easy for you maybe to gain more ideas, or like to put new content, to remove or the irrelevant one. And then the fifth step is reading out your draft loud. So the fifth step is about you take your draft and then ask your colleagues to read it loud. And like you may ask also like few representative site visitors to read that content. And then the sixth step is about listen carefully and revise. Here, this step encourages to not ask people the opinion about the content. No, it encourages us to ask them to tell us what your content is about. Because like if you try to ask like the visitors, so, and they try to say their opinion about the content, most of the time that shows that they have not like understood what your content are providing to them. So here you just sit and then try to ask your visitors of the webpage or audience in general to tell you about your content that you have provided to them. What is important is whether they got the answers and your key messages. So if like your visitors you have selected, like they become able to give you the content you have provided, this ensure you that they have become able to get the answers to the question you have tried to ask for that content, and even the key messages you have provided to them. Thank you. This was my presentation.